Okay, so time for a quick walkthrough of the WEB601 milestone 3, the sort of semi-completed prototype web application built in React with Connects bridging to a MySQL database on the server side. So we've got I've got my application running in my VS Code here. I'm serving up our application server and our database server here in the terminal. So I'll just go straight to my web app, which is running here. So yeah, as you can see, it's the idea, of course, is that it's for a cafe or a restaurant, and that menu events. It's basically going to facilitate communicating the goods and services of the business to customers. The idea of the application is basically exactly that, and to also enable a administrator to essentially update, display, delete, and create new records to be displayed in the site. So yeah, so you can see navigation works. We're able to jump around between our pages. Everything responds as it should. I won't go too far into the sort of content of the pages. I believe that's covered all in my documentation that's been submitted for this milestone. Yeah, so basically all of our links work. We also are using some social media links, you can see, just linking up to social media sites outside of the application. Excuse me. Yeah, but we're also bringing in data from the backend server in several places on the site. For example, here on our home page, this review is coming in from one of our tables in the backend. To just give you a bit of an idea of that, this is my MySQL database that I'm running in the background. So as you can see, we're using GBCDB, the Garden View Cafe database. So, and let me see. So we're pulling this from menu reviews, I do believe. So if I just open up menu reviews there. Oops, no, menu reviews, please. Lovely, so you can see there's our review there that we are displaying here on the front end. So yeah, that's a simple get API there. Okay, so we're doing more on menu page, for example. Excuse me. Essentially, all of these sections here of content are all coming directly from our database. We're essentially pulling everything out of these tables and everything out of the tables in the database and populating the tables here in the front end, based on the breakfast, lunch, or dinner, essentially. So we're looping through there. We're doing a very similar thing on events, of course, but we're just sort of sorting our events by season. But again, we're pulling all this information out of our database in the back end. Now, this can be observed, of course, if we inspect our page and go to console. Okay, you can see the arrays that we're pulling in. If we open those up, you can see we're sort of pulling in all these names and dates and information for our events here. And of course, a similar thing, if I jump back to the menu page, as the page loads up, you see, boom, here we go. We get our arrays of data out of the database in the back there. Cool. Now, if we, to facilitate administration of the contents of the page, so we've got an admin menu, we can jump in here, and then we can basically, most of these don't do anything, but this one does at this stage. So we can jump into our menu page, and this will facilitate a bit of editing of the menu. So for example, we can add a new item. So I'm just going to do something very original. Just quickly give us some test items. Let's say $10. So it's available, and it's a breakfast item. Now I'm just going to add that to our database, essentially, in the back end, so you can see that's been added. We'll just open up and inspect, and to log that. Okay, just so you can see anything else that we do. Let me see, so we can edit menu items as well. Now this one works. But the only downside is we have to actually know the name and some information of the item that we want to edit. So just for this, I'm going to say new items, and I will just edit porridge. So I'll just grab that name. Now, as you can see, this is not actually ideal, and ideally, I would actually prefer to use this method here, which I'm currently working on, where you can see I'm actually pulling in the data from the database, and then I'm intending to edit it and push it back and update. But anyway, that's a work in progress, unfortunately. This one works, so let me see. Just an updated description, and I believe it was something like that. Okay, so we'll just send that back. Boom, item has been updated. You can see it's gone shooting back. Now, just to demonstrate, we'll just go back to our database. And I'll just grab a fresh copy. So you can see here's our updated description. Sorry, excuse me. So here's our updated description that we've just updated, and here's our new item that we created. So there's proof of concept of adding a new item and updating an item. Now, we can also, of course, just grab the item again from there, and we can also just go right to the bottom. We can also delete items, so we're just going to get rid of new item. Boom. Now we'll just see that should have been removed from our database. Oh no, it wasn't. Sorry, I must have a little error there. I'll chase that up at some point. Sadly, it did work the last time I tried that. Okay. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, basically we've got certain generally we've got working add, update, so post, put, delete, and get all have been demonstrated and have functioned. Yeah, a bit of a surprise that delete error there, but yeah, I guess I haven't tried that for a little while. Anyway, also for milestone free websites needed responsive design. I was quite lucky. I used a SDK React strap, so that kind of, so if we go to the menu page, so that's pretty good actually for handling responsive design. You can see we get in there and we can squish our page and mess around with it and stuff, and it's all pretty responsive. It handles that all pretty well. And let's see, oh, and our nav bar collapses to a little hamburger icon there. So if we go to another page, maybe contact. So you see we just got a contact page with business info, and again, as we shrink down and we just sort of move a few things around to allow for that adjustment in size. But yes, everything resizes quite nicely. So sorry, please excuse the coughing. I just actually am losing my voice a little bit at this stage of the semester. Now, also for milestone 3 was the idea of bringing in and implementing Redux into the project. Now, I'm just going to jump into my code for a second. So handling media queries and the responsive design and such, I'm using a style CSS and applying that throughout the project. So I'm trying to use a lot of things. I generally use a percentage for a size, and I have margins as auto to center things, which are styling features that basically work. They're pretty forgiving when you resize and do responsive design and such. And I have a breakpoint CSS here where I'm just kind of handling some of the things that are resizing, like say to mobile device, and just handling those sort of little things that just need a wee bit of tweaking on the resize, just not quite caught by the initial styling in the CSS there. Okay, so that's responsive design. Now for Redux, we've got all the things in play. It's a little bit mixed. I would say it's kind of half implemented. I've sort of had some success and some not so successful things with it, but it's kind of one of those things that if I had a little bit more time, I'm sure I would have kind of a lot more happening, but ran out of time there at the very end. Let me see. Okay, so in our app index, the overall index, you can see we're using the provider and the store, wrapping our app in that, so that of course we need to do this. That basically creates the interface between Redux and React by enclosing it in this provider. And you can see we're creating a store. Here's our store here that we're creating. I've got a couple of reducers going on, some initial states there for sort of the data that I'm expecting to pass in on these use cases, and you can see I was essentially trying to get a login and a registration happening with Redux as the proof of concept there. So yeah, so we've got a login and a register action here, and no, sorry, reducers here. My mistake. We've got our state, got our root reducers. We do have actions, of course, which are up here. So yeah, we've got an action for a login and an action for a register. Login's just kind of checking an email and a password, whereas register is actually pass through that information to do a put in the database in the back end. But yeah, essentially I've got login kind of working okay, but not register. So now we'll just quickly demonstrate those. So if we click on login here and jump into the login page, so here we are. Now, and sorry, this is slightly awkward as well, but I'm just going to grab my user table, and I'm just going to grab my user email, pop that in there, because this is actually checking our database in the back end, so we need that, need that actual data, and I'm just going to grab my user's password there, pop that in. Okay, so you can see, and I'm just sort of logging those as I go for debugging at the moment, but we're going to log that off. Boom, so that's, you can see that's been sent there. If we open this up, here's a response. So boom, you can see we've had a response payload here. Happy days. So we're just going to, store. Lovely. So we're just going to get the state of the store just as a proof of concept, and you can see we've got an object in our account here. Happy days, which is boom. Here you go. So we've so we've successfully popped that username into the store. So we've saved that through using Redux. So there's a little proof of concept there. Sadly, as I said, I was hoping to have a similar thing going on register, but if we try and do something similar, and then we try and send that, we do get our post away, but unfortunately we get an error here with the required columns of our post. And unfortunately I just kind of ran out of time to just get to the bottom of what was happening there. So probably some sort of syntax in my action, or perhaps one of the APIs in the back end. But yeah, I'll play around with it and eventually work it out, I'm sure. But yeah, so that basically covers the application for the Milestone 3. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and yeah, hopefully everything runs as should when tested. If anything doesn't, please feel free to get in contact with me, and we'll have a look at what's going on. Awesome, thank you.